Well, thank you for having me finally.
Or you could say thank you for the perfect timing of my conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
Can you feel the difference?
Yes. I can get rather easily in alignment when I breathe a few times, or I can be very, very satisfied or deeper or excited. And I think that that is a feeling of being in connection, being in alignment with Source, and that can be the character of Source. But when I go in meditation, it looks like it's more a neutral place without feelings. So when am I in connection with Source?
All right, so we're fine-tuning here, and we really like this. Let's start with the very accurate premise that your emotions are about the blending or not between you and your inner being, the allowing or the resistance. So let's say, as you did, that you're in a meditative state and you've managed to quiet your mind, and so you're feeling the detachment of physical. So there is no resistance at all. And you're saying that that detachment doesn't feel good or bad. It feels like detachment because there's no negative pulling at you. There's just that being who you are. And so you could say to yourself, this is my natural acclimation to who I really am. Now, if you were able to stay in that place without judging it as inappropriate, you see, what happens is you get there, and because you have this impression that when you get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, it should feel really whippy skippy, it should feel really wonderful, and you're sitting there feeling, what was the word you used?
I think neutral, and
neutral.
I once heard you say, I think numbness, is that a word, an English
sort of
word?
Detachment or numbness.
Yes.
So as you're there, don't condemn the numbness or the lack of enthusiasm. Instead, just rest in it and don't think too much about this, but it's a nice thing to acknowledge. I'm in a place of non-resistance. And then focus back on whatever sound it is that you've isolated. Just focus there on that sound, because non-resistance means that the vibration will increase. The momentum of the vibration will increase. So if you stay there long enough without being critical of not feeling anything, that's the distinction that we want to make. So many people think they're going to meditate and then someone really important is going to write a book through them. Well, that could happen, but don't get out there ahead of yourself. Don't meditate for the purpose of receiving something that you're going to broadcast to the world. Meditate for the purpose of feeling the blending of who you are and the pleasure of that, and let that be your intention. And when that's your intention, you'll find that easily. And when you find that easily, then the momentum will increase, and then the ideas will begin to flow. And with ideas that flow, in the absence of resistance, will come an enthusiasm. You'll feel like getting on with your life. You'll feel like getting out into the day. You might even have something specific that you've received, someone you really want to call, or something you really want to look up, or something that you really want to Google, or someplace you really want to be, or something that you really want to do. But you have to let that momentum increase. And most people, frankly, do not let that momentum increase because they are so busy wanting to turn it into something before it's ready to be turned into it, and then they get lackful because it's not turning into it, and then they introduce resistance to it, and so then they just have those sort of limp meditations, sometimes on and on and on. But now you know the difference, don't you?
Yeah.
So now you know what to do. And what is it to do? Don't meditate to change the world. Meditate to find a feeling of pleasure. Meditate for the serenity, for the peacefulness, for the love. Meditate for the love, because there's a tendency to say, I'm going to meditate to get rid of my anxiety. But now you're meditating for the anxiety. I'm going to meditate so my heart isn't broken anymore. But now you're meditating, your heart is broken. You see, that's why you want to clear your mind. It's a fresh start. It's a reset. Yeah. Enough?
Yes, great.
Really
Thanks.
good.